Good evening, Burbies, and it is just wonderful to be on our program, our Alliance on the Move program with you this evening. I'm especially happy to be here because I haven't been on this program for a couple of weeks, and I hope you all have been keeping safe. Tonight with me, I'm excited. We have Devon Sears, our Member of Parliament for the AFC, and then we also have Ricky. And I know many of you in the Berbice area know Ricky because he frequents the area and engages with many of you on a regular basis. So this evening, I want to start off by saying belated Happy International Men's Day to all the good men, all the good Guyanese men that look after their families and their children. Yes, I know, I know. We give credit where it's due. So thank you to all the good men out there, and we were happy that we have a day to celebrate you. I want to go from that note of happiness to a little bit of remorse. Believe it or not, it is 10 years today that one of the founding members of the Alliance for Change, Sheila Holder, passed away. Many of you will know that Sheila was quite an advocate in Guyanese society. She actually had many years with the Consumer Affairs Bureau advocating for all kinds of consumer rights. And of course, you will know that in 2005, with Kamraj Ramjatan and with Raphael Trotman, the three of them gave birth to this beautiful political party called the Alliance for Change. And it hasn't been an easy road. I'll be the first to admit that. And you know, when I look at the birth and the 10 years of the, not 10, 15 years of the Alliance for Change, I realized that the task we had set ahead would always be antagonistic to many groups. And why do I say that? Sheila especially, and the Alliance for Change, had advocated some principles of trying to change the political landscape in Guyana. We talked about being a multiracial society. And I always like to say that others can talk about it, but when you look at the Alliance for Change, you know the talk is real. Just look at the program tonight. We are all so mixed up and we all come from different places, but we have one intention to do the best we can to make politics in Guyana better. And so tonight, I want to just mention to you that Sheila also went into Parliament. She first went into Parliament in 2008, sitting in a WPA seat. And then, of course, in 2011, she was part of the first set of parliamentarians for the Alliance for Change. And then, of course, as I said, unfortunately, 10 years ago, a week before the 2011 election, we lost Sheila. She lost her battle to cancer. I want to say that she's always in our hearts. The spirit of Sheila walking the length and breadth of this country. Many of you will remember her in the Region 5 and 6 area, advocating for women's rights and looking out for all the important things. She was a strong fighter in our parliament. And today we just say to her family and to her friends and to Guyana, we haven't forgotten her. We miss her terribly. So that's a little bit remembering Sheila Holder. Next, I want to go to the most topical and distressing issue we've been facing this week. And really just in the last 2 days, and that is the issue of this 7% increase. Now, we're happy for an increase, but really it could have been more, it should have been more. So, Devon, over to you to start us off on the 7% increase.
All right, thank you so much, Kathy, and good night to the entire Barbies area throughout Guyana and those who are tuned in across the world. Of course, this program here is to bring insight to what is happening in current affairs and what is happening with I would say, the strongest party in Guyana at this point in time, the Alliance for Change. Um, we spoke earlier about Sheila. I remember Sheila for the very first time I met her. I think I was just out of college, sometime around 2007 in Linden here, and she struck me as a person who's fair, inclusive, but yet powerful. And because of the strides that she has made in the party and surrounding myself with you, Kathy, and even Raphael and Kemraj and Michael Carrington and the others, I said to myself, I have Amerindian in me and a little bit of African, being mixed, this is the right party for me. And when she spoke at these meetings that we had, it brought conviction to my heart that, look, I need to join the Alliance for Change. And I know many of you out there are thinking the same thing, all right? Of course, later on in the program, we're going to give you information as to how you can become a member. But remembering Sheila was a loving person, powerful, strong woman, very principled. And those are some of the qualities that I have actually garnered from her. I've learned from the best, and I've learned from Sheila. So 10 years have passed. But Sheila is still an auntie to me, Auntie Sheila. God rest her soul. She's still a part of my life and a part of the Alliance for Change members. Coming to the 7% increase, what the PPP is, giving praise to. Yes, we give the public servants a 7% increase. I just want to bring us our attention this evening. The article from News Village Voice, sorry, minimum wage public servants will get actually $4,900 increase in salary. This is not something to boast about. I think this is chicken feed, Kathy and Ricky. This is chicken feed they're giving the public servants. The public servants have not gotten an increase last year in 2020. Now you come with a 7% increase. Yes, retroactive, but it's being taxed. The coalition, AP and AFC, had done more for public servants, and I believe that they will ever get in the PPP's term. They had promised a 50% salary increase, but yet here in this global pandemic that we're faced with, they're only giving the public servants 7%. You know what we did as a coalition within the tenure that we've been there, Kathy? 77% salary increase. And I am proud to say that by now, at this stage, they might have gotten over 100% salary increase. Once we were in government, we were not cheated out of government. And one of the things that we need to take into consideration with what's happening in Guyana, inflation is on the rise. 14% average inflation of goods and products. We see what is happening at the market. So now we're heading into Christmas time, the most festive season. We're all about family, particularly the women who like to buy their blinds and break up the house and cook pepper pot and all these fancy things. They cannot afford that. I'm saying to the government right now, PPP, y'all are stupidness, right? I know you're commenting below on the program right now, the live. Let's say PPP, they're for stupidness. The people of Guyana have worked so hard over the last 2 years. Our frontline workers are in the help of COVID-19. Then what they getting? They ain't getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. And we're saying as Guyanese, we deserve better. Way, way better than what we're getting right now. And while all of them at the top there eating the fancy steak and they're driving out in the fancy vehicle, they worry about nothing. They don't care about you folks out here. But the Alliance for Change cares about you. That's why we're bringing this to your attention, that you deserve better. It's your right, it's your entitlement. We're all producing nation. That's what we are. We're not the little third world country anymore with just little rice and sugar, a little bauxite. No, we are with the big boys now. So if the top 1% in the country is eating lavishly, what about the small man down there? Everybody must be on a level playing field. I know, Kathy. I know we're going to go into the increase. The rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer.
Yes.
That's what we're seeing. So I see my proposal personally, I would say to the government, outside of giving live up to your obligation, what you had promised during the campaign, the 50% increase. But what I believe would be fair, at least for public servants, is at least, just like how they're giving grants here, there, and everywhere, give every public servant at least a minimum of $50,000 grant, one-half grant, and at least give them a 20 to 30% salary increase, non-taxable, retroactive from 2020. See if they're going to do that. No, because it's only them must get fat and eat lavishly and all kind of things. But God don't see Kathy. and we gonna keep putting fire on the defeat. So
Yep.
PPP, y'all the posthumous.
Yep. Ricky, you got to turn on your mic, Ricky.
My apologies. Sorry.
All
I
right,
need
that's
to,
all.
I like to mute it so that you guys can get a good
Yeah.
background. Yes, Kathy, thank you very much. And I want to say good evening to all our viewers in Barbados and across the country. Those who are tuning in from overseas or diaspora and so on, good evening to all of you and your family. Please stay safe. I also want to express a little bit of sentiment to our late founder member, Ms. Sheila Holler. I didn't have the privilege, Kathy, to indulge with her, but I can recall her son, Sheldon, was doing his MBA with us. We were in class together. And I think it was in 2009, we sang that, you know what, we are thinking about Alliance of Change, but we didn't know that his mom was the founder member of AFC. And he was like, yeah, and he was like so excited. But later on, learned that, his mom was a founder member of Alliance for Change. And then he gave us his support and so on. So I wanted to know exactly why we got the support from him. But later on, I found out. But, I wanted to share this with our viewers that one of her belief is that she wanted to have like-minded people like herself to transform the political platform in this country. And I think that is where her battle started, and that is what she wanted. She wanted to create that opportunity. She wanted to show the change in the political dynamic in this country. And that was her struggle. And that is what the AFC really stands for, to give a hope for the people of this country. And
Yeah.
we'll continue to do that. And that is one of our legacy that we wanted to continue. As young member of parliament, she have given us opportunity. The opportunity I got as a member of parliament is because of person like the founder member, Sheila Holder. And of course, we have our two stalwart, Mr. Ramjatan and Mr. Truckman. So I want to say that, Kathy, and come back to the 7% increase.
7%.
I think it's a slap in our face in the public servant's face, to be very blunt about it. Divine is quite right. In 4 years, we have given 77% increase to public servant, non-taxable.
Yep.
So Divine is quite right on that. And we have not only the 77%, but we have given the other benefit in terms for the children. Remember, we had a 5B program.
Yes.
That was a benefit that goes towards the family.
The books, the
bicycles, the breakfast,
the
you understand?
breakfast, and yeah.
Those are the programs that we enroll with it. Then you remember your program. You had the internet.
Yes.
You were creating it up. So all these things were part and parcel of for the public servants. You understand? So it was like a total package, because that is the vision that we had. Look,
Ricky, if I could just expand that point, don't lose your thought. Sorry. But this is where sometimes we forget. We think that because we got a check for 9,000 or 19,000 and a one-off check, we think, oh gosh, we get something. But you don't realize that that is just a one-off. The increase, as Devin reminded us, 77% the salaries for public servants moved from 2015 when APNU AFC was in there up to 2020 when we left. 77%, a huge amount. So it meant that every single month you were getting an increase. And if you totaled it up, it would be much more than that one-off check you get for a year. So these are the kinds of things that we need to look at. And as you said, the support. Many people didn't have to buy a bicycle. Many people were able to put their children on a bus, a school bus, and their children go to school for free. And it's sad to see that in Guyana, we still have that attitude that we're not interested in benefits for the people, but we're in this partisan politics. So because APNU and AFC started the school bus, we can't continue it. Take it off the road. Give the buses to other uses. And those children that had that option no longer have that option. It's stupidness.
Yes.
And to into Sheila, one of the things that she felt very strongly about was this partisan attitude. We can't look at a project and decide it is good and therefore we continue it. But if he didn't do it or if it's me own, then we got to throw it out by the wayside or we going to hold on to it. And to mature, we have to get past that. I wanted to say that. So sorry, Ricky, go right ahead.
That's okay. So I wanted to bring to the attention of something that's quite disturbing. We have, remember, as politicians, we're following whatever political parties are campaigning on. The manifestos, all the political platform, not even remember 2016, I hope we can get a video, but in 2016, the vice president started up and say that he welcomed collective bargaining,
Yes.
and mentioned that the union should call for a 50% increase. Then when he said it in 2016, then they make a placard and put it all over: free education, 50% increase for public servants, no more 2 a.m. curfew, and a whole set of posts all over. All of a sudden, they remove it. Now,
And you know what? You know what is interesting? They're saying now that they didn't put up that poster, but at the time they never made a statement saying, "Folks, we don't know who put this up. It's not us."
Yes, yeah, and you know they take so much of energy. These young ministers, especially Sonia and the minister Sonia Parak. You know, I'm disappointed in her. You know, as a young minister, to come out and literally say that, you know what, come in some other statement, say, you know what, now we can't give the 50%, but we can give you 7%. It would have been better.
Yep.
Then you come in and try to say that is fake and we Photoshop and all these things and so on.
Yep.
This is not, and I want our Barbadian to listen carefully about these people. These are the promises they made to you guys. These are the promises they made to you guys, and we were killing. It's, you know, it's like, and when it comes to public servants, how come the sugar workers get $250,000? Where is the balance and the equity in that? Now, you cannot put one up and one down. You are trying to suppressing a certain fraction of Guyanese people. And I keep saying,
Ricky,
go ahead.
Yeah, Ricky, you know, we are happy that the sugar workers got.
Yeah.
Right? We're happy. But our principle is that everybody must get.
Correct.
Now, in the public domain recently, they've been saying that because, as you said, we're an oil-producing nation, our GDP is now 43.5%. Inflation, as Devin quite rightly said, increased to 14.5%. So already, that 7% that you're getting now really doesn't exist, because your cost of living has gone up so high. And we know that is true because everybody know, from going to buy a bag of rice, of cement, food, whatever it is, we all know it has increased tremendously, you know? But you're making a very good point, because at the end of the day, they got to take us for idiots. If technology allows us to hear Mr. Jagdeo saying in 2016, pay the people 50%, and now you're going to try and say that they never said that. It was never a view, you know? And that is what is so sad. And in Region 5 and Region 6, you know, with COVID, at one stage, Region 6 was one of the areas that had a lot of problems with COVID. And it's those public servants, those nurses that left their families, that went out to work every single day and night to look after people with COVID, to go out and to teach them how to be safe, you know, to man the hospitals when at that time you would have been worried about your own safety and the impact on your children. The teachers that maybe didn't have an opportunity to be trained how to do online learning, that all of a sudden had to start working out how they could still teach their children, you know? The teachers that actually went and collect booklets and took it to children's homes. Is that the way you treat our teachers? Is that the way you treat our nurses? The increase in crime that we're seeing, this is the way you treat the police? all those are real public servants
Public
that we
servants, yeah.
feel should have gotten something, especially when we talk about the fact that there's over $400 million in our reserve account.
Mhm.
That is the money we're earning from oil revenues. Why can't we give some of that to the people of Guyana? At this point in time, I think it would be good. Ricky, should we ask our technical people to play that clip?
Yes,
Because
if they can. If
Yes,
they can,
need,
please.
yeah, they need to hear Mr. Jagdeo himself.
Mhm.
And I want to say if he asked for it in 2016, he should have been telling his cabinet and the president, give the people the 50% now.
Yes.
Can we get our technical people to hear Mr. Jagdeo? Let's remind him of what he said. Technology is an amazing thing. Over to you, Mr. Technician. Play the clip.
I'm hoping they can get this.
The
Get
clip
this.
up. The good thing, it has been circulating a lot
Mhm.
on Facebook and everywhere, and we know it was Mr. Jagdeo, talking about speaking in Parliament in 2016.
Mhm.
If we're not going to get that clip, what I would ask the technicians, whenever you have it, just play it, and we can stop our conversation at that
Correct,
point
correct.
in time. Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay. So Ricky, you had some more points you wanted to make on the increase.
Yeah, so I was just wanted to reemphasize the there's so much of and I saw the other minister within the Ministry of Housing, what's her name, Miss Suzanne, trying to do the same thing, and there you go another young minister trying to defend something that they know that is true. Now, if you make this kind of statement and the promises that you wanted to make, it's a failed promises. Yeah?
Yeah.
It comes out in the book as a failed promise,
Mhm.
and I want people to understand, Kathy. Not everything that people tell you, especially these kind of politician now, that they promise you the golden spoon, and what you have, probably copper spoon or less, probably lower metal. You know, so you have to be careful. There were so much promises made, and we're gonna come to that on our next topic with the fishing and so on. I think we
Right.
want to capture that.
Yeah.
But Kathy, I think as Devian rightfully point out, 30% will be good. I was thinking the same thing that Devian was saying, 30%, but not taxable. You can't tax it,
Yes.
man. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, we have enough. You mentioned, Kathy, that we have enough.
Yep.
You understand? You have
And
to.
I think that's the part that is really sad. That you only given 7%, but you're gonna tax it now. And then Devin, you made the point about the people that have money getting richer.
Yes.
And that's why the coalition, when they gave that massive increase, and we didn't do it just in the final year, we did it from the beginning.
Yes.
77% increase over the 4 years. And one of the things we did is that we staggered it. So
Right.
when we had that increase, different levels of people got different amounts. So for example, the public servants actually got 9%. That was for
Right.
the minimum wage earners. And then for persons earning 100,000 to another category, they got 8.5. And the
Right.
thinking was that those folks had a little more, and what we were focusing on was giving the largest increase, the 9% on the last occasion, to the people that were earning the least. And then those that got higher levels, people making over $1 million a month, got a much smaller
1%.
you know, and
1%.
that was fair. Devin, you want to comment on that? You got to switch off your mic. Switch it on. All right, don't worry. We're going to come back to you, Devin. Play with your mic and say something so we know you're back in working order. Yeah, so that's one of the things that is sad about the increase. I think we've covered most of the points regarding the increase that we are concerned about. The fact that it is taxable, the fact that for 2 years practically, 2020 and it's only now in 2021, there
Let
was
me
nothing to
let
public
me
service.
let me put some more stats to this thing here,
Sure,
because
sure.
they're going to come in. In 2015, it saw a mammoth increase of 26%. 10% in 2016, 9% in 2017, 8% in 2018. That was the stats we had.
Wow.
PPP administration took 9 years to move minimum wages just over 50%, from $26,070 in 2006 to $39,540. Under our government, the coalition government, minimum wages moved from 39,540 to 70,000.
Yep. People forget that. Repeat
Highest
it again,
increase
Ricky.
in minimum wage
Repeat
in
it
Ghana
again.
history. Yeah,
Repeat it again.
yeah. On the coalition, so under the PVP, they took 9 years to move it from 26,000 to 35,000, 39,540. On our, we have moved from 39,540 to $70,000. The highest increase in wages in Ghana history, almost doubled in a less than 4 years' time.
Yeah.
So, these are the things that our viewers, you have to be very, people might want to say, why are we repeating this? But we have to do it because we don't want to show like God. If 7%, you might, oh God, you have 70%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were worshiping like God. But you have to see what previous government did, which is what we did.
This is a way of just asking our viewers and citizens to be honest and to be real. Give credit where it is due. Right now, there's a campaign by the PPP that suggests that the APNU AFC did nothing good, and that is where we are showing you these figures. This whole nonsense about APNU AFC thieving the elections. They forget that it was the same APNU AFC that said when there was a problem, let's do a recount. We didn't have to do that recount. We wanted to do it right. And
Yep.
one of the things I was thinking the other day, isn't it strange? I put all our challenges, even what's taking place today, at the foot of GCOM. Isn't it strange that GCOM has never charged anyone? No presiding officer on the East Coast for those 47 boxes that had no information there. So somebody did some funny thing there. If we know those 47 boxes were tampered with, and yet GCOM has arrested and has cases with several people, but not one investigation into one of those 47 boxes. And these are the realities that we have to question any government. Devin, your audio working now, boy?
Yes, it's working perfectly fine. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I just wanted
You want
to
to comment?
yes, I wanted to comment on particularly what we were talking about, the salary increase, why the rich is getting richer, the poor will continue to get poorer. I really appreciate the point that you made about the APNU AFC. When we did the salary increases, the percentage varies, right? Because let's say for a person who is making $1 million, they're going to get $70,000 increase, and that is retroactive, and that is times 12. So a person who's working for $100,000 who's going to get $7,000, and then that's times 12. And of course, you have to take out that tax that we're talking about. What is happening right now with the PPP is that they're catfishing us. They're giving with one hand and taking with the other, because that's why Kathy made the point. It's not enough with the inflations and things happening. That 7%, it can't work at all, at all, at all, at all. So what we have to do as a country is start standing up Many of you who are watching this program right now, you're saying yes, good points, but you're fighting on the sidelines. You have to get, I use a Sherry term. You got to get in the ring. You got to fight. You got to fight. You just cannot accept anything that they're throwing at you. I want to hit it home with what is happening in the bauxite industry. Fine, sugar industry, they're going to get $250,000. I'm happy about that. But I'm not hearing any talks now about training these people, the sugar workers, so that they can transition into higher paying jobs. They're not having that discussion. Even when it comes to the bauxite industry here in Region 10, particularly in Orlando, those folks up there are still suffering because Russo cannot, a bauxite company cannot open as yet. We're seeing a government that is not impartial. As a government, you need to create an equal playing ground for everyone, provide equal opportunities, not because these folks, the sugar workers, might be your support base. You have to do more for them while you're doing more for the others. And with the folks, the public servants, everybody, I'm telling you, AFC is going to champion this thing. 30% increase, non-taxable, plus give the folks a $50,000 grant, every public servant. And I'm pretty sure that that could work for all of us, right?
Yeah.
But right
Yep.
now, what is happening, I'm being real with you, the police officers are out there on the road, they're working day and night. And you know what they're going to say? This 7% can't do for me. So my family, my wife, my girl, my child, mother, whoever the home, I gotta carry them a little extra. So you know what? They'll pass a bribe. And this is creating corruption in our country. And these are the things the PPP government have to answer for. And we need to
Yeah.
hold them accountable.
Correct.
Yep. Now, gentlemen, I got a text from our technicians who are unfortunately, we didn't give them enough notice, so they can't access that clip. But what we will do is that we will put it on our Facebook page, so anybody that actually wants to see it can see it there. Of
Yeah.
course, it's been sharing a lot, so I think most people may have seen it, but I was just hoping we could play it in this program for emphasis. Now, I want us to go on to another unfortunate incident this afternoon. I don't know what it is. It's almost as if we're doomed. But we had another fire this afternoon. Why is it we have all these fires when this PPP government is in place? Ricky, you want to talk to us a bit about the fire and
Kathy,
explain to people that may not know where this fire took place? It's
yeah,
the
Kathy. I mean, it's very unfortunate that it happened at
yeah.
the head office of the police, main office of the police compound, Ivlery. It's at the office of the professional
Responsibility.
the OPR
Yeah,
office, which also housed the DBP office,
yeah.
same building, which is Kiri.
Hmm.
Suspicious, maybe I will say.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of disappointed, Kathy, because the statement I listened with the Minister of Public Security in one of the police video. I don't know if you guys saw that one
This is today?
today.
Oh,
Yeah, today. As
no, I
recently,
haven't seen it.
and
Don't
he
tell me they're
mentioned,
saying is the opposition create the fire again.
well, actually, that is where he's coming to now because he said there are some people there in the diaspora said that Georgetown will come under fire. You are talking here about two buildings under the police of the Guyana Police Force, the highest security here. How come? I'm not getting it. I'm not getting.
Ricky, they you know what they don't realize? That they ought to be ashamed to even suggest that. Because that was the thing with Brickdam Police Station. A police station, and even this location now that had officers of different arms of the police force should be and is one of the most secure places. How can
Kathy,
anyone off the street walk in?
listen to me.
And so
You
they don't realize that they make themselves look stupid when
more
they
than
say that.
more than
They think
you
we're
are
stupid.
this statement here. You
You
are
can't
saying
police your own players. How you gonna
that
police other people?
yeah, you were saying that the fraction in the diaspora mentioned that they're gonna put Joshua under fire and you not take security control. In this very program here, we had a program here when we had the breakdown fire. I said people asked what's the recommendation, what should be done. What happened to the sprinkler? What happened to the fireproof safe that you can put your documents inside? Nobody didn't take precaution from that fire. You wanted to say that you didn't take that okay, you make the bold statement that we threatened to burn down Georgetown. You didn't take precaution, and it happened in the police force, the
Yeah.
one that's supposed to secure the rest.
And you can't walk in off the street and go there. None of these places you could just walk in. So, David,
Precisely my
you
point.
want to come in on this?
Yes, please. It seems that this country is becoming a wild, wild west.
Yeah.
People look to the police for protection, and I'm not going to cast blame, but for me, a few months ago we had the breakdown fire, and now this. It seems very suspicious and convenient. It seems very suspicious and convenient. And I'm waiting to hear who's going to get arrested, whether it is going to be the lighter sponge and a piece of wire. What somebody is saying is that it's going to be a pint of broom and paper this time, right? Kathy, I'm waiting to see what happens next. Because with the breakdown fire, it burned down today, clean up tomorrow. I want to see what they will do.
Probably clean it up so you can't investigate anything.
Exactly,
But
right?
you know,
And we don't know what is lost in the file. We saw images of them taking out some stuff. We don't know. We absolutely
paper.
don't. And is there going to be an inquiry into this? Is there going to be an international investigation? Because this thing's happening very often. Fires all over the city, and yet still we have ministers, the minister responsible for basically public security, talking froth. This is unacceptable. You have the responsibility to protect the lives and assets of this country. And that is why the APNU AFC moved a no confidence motion against him. Minister Roopson then. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
What is going to happen next? Some places is going to burn down and nothing is going to be done. Somebody needs to be held accountable. And the minister has to be held accountable at this point.
Well, you know, as we're talking, and Ricky was able to share some sentiments which some of us haven't seen yet from an official. You know, sometimes it's the ordinary people that has got a handle on what's going on. And as with the big breakdown fire, just today, if you scan social media, these are not my thoughts. These are the thoughts of ordinary Guyanese who are already saying these are prime locations. And they are suggesting that these fires are so those locations can be used for other things. So let's see if those locations are then bought by some government supporter to put up new hotels in that area. Who knows? They are prime locations. So let's see. Let's see.
I want to put a caution out there. You hear? Just like we were cautioned
Mhm.
that when we get back in the office there, we can deal with that. So whoever got intention to buy, think twice before you go.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying here? I'm telling you that because you got to put me under Ministry of Security because I'm going to be watching.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? So we got to be serious about this. Hey, you can't do that.
Yep.
You understand me? That you can't do that. That's not how you govern a country. That's very poor. That's poor governance. We'll be watching.
You know, I want to take us to another aspect, and that is unfortunately, one of the first set of people that were fired were 52 young people working with the National Data Management Authority. You all might remember that. And these young people were people that we had actually trained and had started a pilot at the registry where they were scanning all these documents
Correct.
The problem we have in all of our ministries and all these locations, and to think we're talking about legal cases, transports, the DPP's office, who has responsibility for all these cases and all these situations that are taking place right now. How could those records not be protected? I mean, I'm looking at the pictures of piles and piles of paper on file sitting on, a little piece of board, a filing cabinet, water all around. What are the documents that are critical to the dispensation of legal thing, of law, that we are now losing? And instead of continuing a program, we know that there are a lot of young people that don't have jobs. And when I had my public telecommunications ministry, we were training a lot of young people, because you know that you could train them in a short space of time, give them the skill to scan and to document and to tag. And like I said, we had them started in the registry where all those transports and all those important documents are. Because we know that our history is a lot of wooden buildings. How do we protect that information? By now, the PPP, if they had not fired the 52 young people that are digitizing those records so they could be saved on a database, we could have expanded that program. We could have hired by now maybe 1,000 young people. The plan we had is all over the country, including Linden. People forget that that call center sat dormant until I went and we looked at it, and David, we worked together to get it going. I am glad a ribbon was finally cut, but the monies were allocated and the project was designed by us. And by now, we should have had thousands of young people, which is the model and plan that we left. Young people in Region 5, Region 6, Region 10, all Region 3, all digitizing the records at our RDC offices, our NDC offices, the records of our registries, our branch offices. When are we going to get to the stage where we really move this country forward? Instead, we have continued corruption and we look more and more like a cowboy country, and the oil curse is upon us now.
Yep.
Isn't it sad?
So, Kathy, the Barbicians right now, they know that, if you want to get rid of a curse, you got to bathe it with soap and water, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if that's going to work right now, but I know that we can't operate the same way we're operating right now. We to see ourselves as being a third world country, but we have to see past all of that. We have to see ourselves now as transitioning into wealth. We have to see ourselves like the next Dubai, of which everybody seems to be going. I don't know when Kathy and Ricky we're going there, but we have to start thinking big as a nation. We cannot operate the same way like we used to.
Yeah.
AP and UAFC set the standard of living in this country. We promised a good life. We were there. We were heading there. But then, of course, we were cheated out to the last elections. Right? So when it comes to corruption, we have to hold these people accountable. It's your money, folks. Guyanese, crowds of length and breadth of this world, it's your money they're doing stupidness with. That's how we have to see it. Every time you buy a product, every time you receive your salary, taxes coming out, and they are doing whatever they want. Hold them accountable. When Kathy, when I figured whenever you and your husband or whoever is watching, you give them a little money to spend. Y'all very thing with your money. How you spend this money? How you pay for this? That's how we got to be with the government. They are letting the money we want out spending.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, absolutely. Now, one of the other issues that I know is a big issue right now, Ricky, is the situation with the fishermen. We've been seeing again some posts. You want to take us through what that's all about?
Let me go back. Let me go back, and we went, Kamraj and myself. Um, we did a visit to number 66 fishery. Go up there, and those guys are very happy to see us because there are many concerns they had because of the drilling that was happening and the pumping of that hot water back into the ocean was disrupting the seabed.
Yeah.
They said nobody isn't paying attention to them. Yeah, I don't know if you recall my presentation in Parliament when I talked about fish and we were focusing on the
Yeah.
fishing. And Meadowbank had problems too. And remember they were heckling me and they were talking, calling me fishman and so on.
Yeah.
They love to do it.
Yeah.
They did not see what I was talking about today. The video that you're seeing is from the Meadowbank Fisher Wharf. They block the draft, the water channel. And when the guy said, and the people were very upset, and you have to get them right. And this is what I like.
We saw the video
Yeah.
sharing. Yes.
Yeah, and they were so upset because they're ready to come block the entire river. You understand me? Because the river draft is being blocked, and they're not getting to access the wharf. If you mean so, and then they're not getting the fish anymore that they caught, and nobody's talking to them.
Mhm.
Nobody's talking to them. The
Yeah.
Minister of Agriculture is supposed to be going there, and he can't go there now because with the rage where these guys are in, he can't even go there now. But they were laughing Ricky Ramsur when he was making his presentation in Parliament.
Yeah.
Remember, Kathleen, what they did to you one time too?
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the drone story, the drone story.
Yes.
Yes,
Big
remember the drone
joke
story?
about
Yeah,
drones, but
they
I came
loved.
to 47 and we did a wonderful presentation on drones. And we were saying to folks, especially in the rice industry, that you put a drone up, you could monitor, fertilize, and all those things much easier than you physically walking to find out where in your rice field you got the problem. And they laughed. What
Mm.
Kathy was talking about drone. It is something else now to see Mr. Sesnarayan Singh and Guy Suko talking about drone. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Technology, they didn't got it there. And you know what? You know what I don't understand? They sit in the Parliament and they will laugh at anything, like if it's like they're doing in a comedy show. But you know what I'm happy for is that the citizens of this country standing up, just like the King Cutter stand up for the for the weight, they're robbing the people on the weight and the scale, just like the taxi drivers in Kanji stand up and protesting, just like the fisherman coming attack. This is what you need to do.
Mhm.
This is what you need to do. The market people can stand up in region 2, come out and protest against those that they want to break down the stars and so on there. You come out, that is what you do. Then as different as you need to answer. You need to check every single thing that's happening. You have your right to your freedom to go and protest for your right. Because if you want you're not satisfied, you have to protest for your right. So, I'm very saddened and heartened by the fisherman because I know this is just the beginning, Kathy. When you have two or three or maybe five more FPSOs in that ocean, you know what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
And the problem is we don't have a strong EPA now that is checking all of these effects and what kinds of effects it will have on the various sectors in Guyana.
Mhm.
Because now more and more we're hearing that they don't need to do the environmental impact assessment. They don't need to do this. We sign off on that. So we don't even have an agency that is looking after and protecting the citizens and their right to life, their right to earn, the fishermen, whatever sector it is. We're in a bad way. We are in a bad way.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
You
definitely we
know,
are. Yeah, because you raise a real thing there. The importance of having a vibrant and active and functioning EPA, because we could very well have the country wiped away because of our irresponsibleness, and that's what we're seeing that is happening right now. The EPA have to maintain that independence, and we see the EPA itself being controlled by the government. Pass this project, forget about EIA, that don't matter. But we see what is happening across the world when it comes to global warming. Every so often we're losing fishing grounds because of various reasons, especially now with this oil that we have, that God has blessed us with. But we have to manage it properly. And that is what we're not doing.
Mhm.
You see, and I went on to join the other EP, the what you call it, the scoping meeting for the next drilling that's going to happen. And there's a lot of civil society are now stepping up, which I'm very proud of. I'm so proud of them. You have them coming in. You have Melinda Janke. You have Janet Volkan. These are strong persons. These are environmentalists that really, that, and people need to understand. And this is what the Barbies people need to understand. They're not fighting for themselves. Those people living overseas. They're fighting for you, your children, and your grandchildren.
Yeah, and the
So,
principle on what is right.
Oh, exactly. You can do the things. We're not stopping anything that's happening, but you can do it and do it properly. You have to conduct a proper ESIA, the environmental impact, social impact assessment. That's going to tell you that the wildlife, the fish, and everything and so on. Do you know that the forest under the ocean is much more bigger than the one up at the top of land? You guys know that? It's much 2 times, 3 times bigger.
Mhm.
The forest under the ocean.
And Ricky, as you talk about the civil society, I was very happy that recently there is a group that is looking at the modifications that the government is proposing, the changes to the legislation with regard to our election laws, And, they made a really good point. First of all, it's good to see some independent civil society
That's right. That's right.
working, but they made a very good point. And this is something people in the society are talking about. Changes to the elections laws should come from GCOM. And they
That's
should
right.
be going to all the communities, explaining to people what they want to propose and what it will mean. When are we going to do that, as opposed to you just sharing a document only amongst the political parties, as if only the political parties are important in this country? And then you're going to go into parliament, and because you got a majority, you're going to pass it. You don't care what people think. You don't care what people say. You don't care whether the majority of Guyanese think that this is good for Guyana. And so the consultations on something as important as our election machinery, we have to sit and talk and come up with something that works for everybody. You can't shove it down people's throats.
That transparency.
Because in the long run, you're going to have more problems. You will have more problems.
Kathy, you're absolutely correct. When the executive branch want to step in, you're gonna have problems, And I recall when the UWI, those guys did a research on the 2020 election, and the result of when the GCOM chair responded and said our hand was tied. Your hand tied again?
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand the power that you get under the roper?
Yep. Very
you know
true.
What I mean? There are certain limits of the executive branch. You understand? If the executive branch is going to control the other 2 branches, the judicial and the service commission, then you're in trouble.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, we don't have much time. We do want to start wrapping up. I actually have the clip here, and I was wondering if maybe the audio. So I want to do a little test. We play a little bit, and I just want to see if maybe our viewers could at least hear the clip.
Glad that the government has reintroduced collective bargaining, and I hope that the Public Service Union will request at least a 50% increase in wages and salaries.
This government and the PPPC, when campaigning, never promised 50% increase in salaries. What there was a photoshopped photo taken from I don't know where and posted up as if the government was saying, I'm giving you 50% increase.
You heard it. Could you hear it?
That is total confunctional nonsense.
Honestly.
It is.
What is that song?
We saw the poster all over the country. You know, and the young people and public servants, people saying, hey, I live in private sector and go work in the public sector because, 50% increase. A lot of people voted because that was
Yes.
promised to them. But
Yeah.
you have to
And
know
free university education that we ain't get yet.
nursery to university. Yeah? And this is 70%, 7% increase. There's a slap in the face. So
Yep.
that is nonsense. They got to do better than that.
You know, it reminds me of that calypso that the older people would know good. You hear lie? Not lie.
Yes, I write it on one somewhere. I wrote it somewhere on the Facebook page. Yeah.
But it's sad. It's sad that they know technology is there and anybody could do a Google search and hear Mr. Jaggio himself
Yeah.
saying, give the people 50%. And now he's in control and he has the power to do that. They've given you 7.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to give each of you literally a minute to wrap up with some closing remarks for our viewers.
Devin, let me go first. Thank you, Kathy and Devin. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I wanted to leave this here. This is I'm talking to Region 6. Do you know in Region 1, there's a sad report we received this evening that about there are about 3 dozens of children under starvation in that Region 1. You are happy you're in Region 6. You need to know what happened in the other regions. It was shocking when I can discover that we have starvation to that limit in Guyana. They might not be fully Guyanese because it doesn't matter. They're in our land, they're on our waters. I am calling on the government to ensure they go there, get a vac and everything, and go down there with the medical to ensure those children are being looked after. It's terrible because when you look at the other countries in the world and you saw watch as Al Jazeera and all these things, you've seen these children starving. I couldn't believe when I saw this in Guyana.
Yep, it's sad. It's sad.
My entire afternoon torn off, Kathy. My entire afternoon torn off because of that. So I'm calling to the authority to go down there and ensure. Sonia Parag, before you're talking about lies, those are the things that you're going to go check out there. You know what I mean?
Do that. She can go and look at that.
Go look at
Devin,
it.
you literally got a minute.
All right, sure. Thank you so much, Kathy, for having me and Alliance on the Move. To all the folks in Berbice, throughout Guyana, and those watching online and from across the world, the APNU, AFC, of course, AFC being a part of the opposition, will continue to fight on your behalf. But we're depending on you. We are depending on you. We as politicians and parliamentarians and representatives, we will fight, but we need that starter bucket. And Kathy, I just want to say one thing, right? That in America, they have approval ratings, right? So with this 7%, what the PPP is pushing on our public servants, I believe the PPP's approval rating has dropped more than 50% with this nonsense that they're doing. Well, let it continue to drop because we are going back into government very, very soon, and we're going to deliver on all our promises. AFC particularly, we don't promise, we just do. So continue being strong, and God bless Guyana.
Yes, and in closing, I want to remind all our viewers, we are still dealing with COVID in Guyana and all over the world. We cannot take this lightly. Even if you feel you could go out and things have changed, you be safe. Wear your mask all the time. Try and spend the time with friends, close family and friends that you know are also protecting themselves. This is not the time to go down the road partying and don't have on a mask and to take all kinds of risks. We have seen the people that have succumbed to COVID in Guyana and all over the world. And every person, every young person that we've lost is very, very important to us. So keep safe, keep positive. Remember that you can contact us, any of us, on our Facebook page. Any information that you have that you think we need to publicize so that we can push transparency and accountability in this country, we want you to share it with us. That's what the Alliance for Change is committed to. And we continue to be committed to that. We've got to work together for better Guyana. God bless you all, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. Have a good week.
Good night, guys.